Hi guys, my name is Hillary with Barbell Acres, and today I'm bringing to you one of our family favorites, oxtail stew. So the reason my family loves oxtail so much is because it has a lot of glycine. It's a meat that isn't commonly used. It's not a muscle meat, so it has a lot of connective tissue and things around it, so it takes a lot for these types of meats to break down. But once you do break them down, they become the most like tender, roast-like types of meat you'll ever try. I didn't really believe it when I was first trying it. I was kind of like, oh, like very apprehensive. But now my kids don't notice. They think it's just like a typical roast and soup. But like I said, it does require low and slow cooking methods. So what we're gonna do here, first we're gonna sear it on both sides, then we're gonna take it out, cook the vegetables, and then we're gonna put it in the Instant Pot for 50 minutes. So I'm gonna go through it step by step. But you don't have to have an Instant Pot, of course, to do this. You can do this in a Dutch oven and just have it on the stove for about 3 hours. Same type of thing where you sear it on both sides, you cook your vegetables, and then you add in the broth and all the other ingredients and cook it for, like I said, 3 hours or so. My oxtail is about 2 pounds, but you can do anywhere from 1.5 to 3 pound oxtail depending on what you guys have. Okay, let's get started. So I lied, my oxtail is actually 2.5 pounds. So you don't get, there's a lot of bone and things with this. So the meat that you get is actually probably closer to a pound, pound and a half, maybe actually just like a pound. So it's kind of like a typical, maybe a little bit less than a roast, but I just wanted to show you guys that my total for this 2.5 pounds of oxtail meat was grass-fed is $12.52. So a roast at my local market that's 100% grass-fed and finished, oh my gosh, is like $50, if not more. So this is a really affordable, I think, roast-like type of meat, and I think you get a lot of more benefits of it with the glycine and things. So I would definitely recommend it. And like I said, I was very apprehensive of it. Kind of sounds gross, oxtail stew, but it's super good. So yes, all right, let's get into it. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear this, but they're doing work outside my neighborhood, so it's pretty loud. But so I have the Instant Pot 1. We're gonna turn it to the saute function, and we're gonna put at a tablespoon. I think this is tallow here, but you can use butter, you can use lard, whatever you have. Okay, so I'm gonna let that start to melt. I'm gonna coat the bottom. Okay, now I'm gonna take the oxtail. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna try to put it in like an even coat. And we're gonna saute it. While it sautés, I'm gonna do about 2 minutes per side. I'm gonna coat it with a teaspoon of salt. So it's sauteing. You can see the nice connected. All right, we're gonna spend 2 minutes. We're gonna flip it to the other side. You can see one part's nice and browned. That's what we want it to look like. Okay, now we're gonna take the oxtail and we're actually gonna take it out of the pan altogether and just put it on a plate for now. Now we're gonna put another tablespoon of cooking fat, like I said, whatever that is, butter. Keeping it on the saute function, and we're gonna let that heat up. And then we're gonna add in our chopped onions. So I have 2 chopped onions here. They were on the smaller side, so if you have really one large one, then just do the one large. So I have 2 onions, and then I have several cloves of garlic. So I actually have 4 cloves of garlic I'm gonna put in here. Okay, so I have my chopped onion and garlic. Add it in. Right, I'm gonna let that cook for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna stir it. Okay, as you can see, the onions are pretty well cooked and translucent. So we're gonna add the meat back in. Then we're gonna add the remaining ingredients. So I have 2 cups of potatoes. They're from my garden, so they're actually really small, so I'm not gonna cut them at all. I'm just gonna put them directly in. They don't need to be too small just because they cook down so much and they kind of break apart if they're too small. Then I have about 2 cups of carrots and 2 stalks of celery I'm gonna add in. The celery is chopped, the carrots are not really. Again, if they're too small, they will break apart in the stew, so just leave them a little bit thicker. All right, I'm gonna do another teaspoon of salt, a little bit more. Do a full teaspoon of rosemary. Again, another half, 2 bay leaves. One tablespoon of blackstrap molasses. This gives it a nice deep flavor, plus it has so many minerals. I did not know this about molasses until probably a year ago, but now I put it in smoothies, I put it in so much. And then I have red wine vinegar. I'm gonna do a 1/3 cup of that. I like to have some type of acid in there to break down all the connective tissue and things. Plus I think it adds a really good flavor. Okay, and then I'm gonna do my beef broth. So I have 2 cups here. Store-bought, whatever you have. I like mine because it's nice and gelatinous. Okay, so that's what it looks like before. I'm gonna turn it on. Pressure. I'm gonna turn it on a solid hour and then we'll check back. Okay, so the setting on my camera changed, but I let it naturally release. Now the fun part is to pull the oxtail out of the stew, and then we have to take the meat off, take the bones out, and then put the meat back, and then it'll be ready to be eaten. So this takes a little bit, especially when it's nice and hot, but it comes right off of the bone. It's not difficult. You just have to kind of search through the soup to locate all the oxtail. It's so tender that it does actually fall apart. You see how it was when I first put it in, it was all together. Now that it's all apart now with the soup, now that it's cooked. So you can see how easy it is just to pull the bone out. The meat's pretty much separated anyway. The bones, there's really not that many, and then it makes this really beautiful like shredded beef kind of roast like mixture. So you just add that back in, pull the bay leaves out if you haven't already, and it is good to eat. You have a super nutritious bone broth. The glycine's in the bone broth, the glycine is in the oxtail, and all the vegetables as well. It is just super nutritious. I love it. Okay, so that is all. It's a very simple recipe, and again, my family loves it. My kids actually really like it, so it's a great way to sneak in more glycine in their diets, and different types of meat, and a lot of vegetables also in it as well. So hope you enjoyed it. If you try it, please let me know how you like it, and yeah, thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.